The sun was just rising when Ollie arrived at the old garage. The building was quiet, almost like it had been sleeping for many years. Its wooden doors were faded and cracked, and the roof had small holes where the sunlight came through. Inside, the smell of dust and old metal filled the air. Everything looked forgotten, as if no one had stepped inside for decades. Ollie carefully opened the door, listening to the soft creak as it moved. Every sound seemed louder in the silence. At the center of the garage, covered in a thick layer of dust, was a car. It was a Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing, a car that had once been famous for its design and speed. Now it looked weak and tired. Rust covered the edges of its doors and fenders. The silver paint had faded and chipped. The tires were flat, and the windows were cloudy with dirt. The doors were stuck halfway open, frozen in time like a sculpture. Ollie stepped closer, brushing his hand lightly over the hood. The metal was cold under his fingers. He could see scratches and small dents, but he could also see the beauty that had been hidden beneath the years of neglect. He smiled quietly, feeling a mix of excitement and calm. He had worked on old cars before, but this one felt special. It was not just a car. It was a piece of history waiting to be brought back to life. He took a deep breath and looked around the garage. The place was full of old tools, boxes, and broken furniture. There was enough space to move carefully and work without rushing. Ollie liked to take his time. He believed that restoring a car was not only about fixing metal and paint but also about listening to it. Each sound, each movement, and each small detail told a story. He wanted to understand the car before he began. Ollie carefully opened the Gullwing doors. They moved slowly, squeaking as the old hinges protested. He reached inside and touched the seats. The leather was cracked and worn, but he could imagine how soft and smooth it had once been. The dashboard was faded, and the dials were covered in dust. He gently turned the steering wheel, which had become stiff from years of being unused. Everything needed work, but he felt ready for the challenge. The first step was cleaning. Ollie brought in buckets of water and soft brushes. He started with the outside of the car, pouring water gently over the body. The water ran slowly down the surface, carrying away decades of dirt and dust. As he brushed carefully, small details began to appear. The shape of the car, its smooth lines and elegant curves, slowly revealed themselves. Every brushstroke made Ollie feel more connected to the car. The rust was still there, but the shine underneath gave him hope. He paused to look at the Gullwing doors. They were special, unlike any doors on other cars. Ollie knew that repairing them would be a delicate task. He would have to clean the hinges, remove rust, and oil every joint. But for now, he let them rest, enjoying the quiet sound of water flowing and brushes moving softly over metal. The workshop felt calm, almost like a small peaceful world inside the busy city. After cleaning the outside, Ollie moved to the interior. He removed the old floor mats and vacuumed the dirt from under the seats. Every small piece of debris told him that this car had been loved and used many years ago. There were tiny scratches from shoes, small stains from drinks, and faded spots where the sun had touched the leather through the windows. Ollie worked slowly, taking time to notice every small detail. He wanted to preserve the character of the car while preparing it for repair. He took pictures of the dashboard and seats before touching anything. Ollie liked to document everything. It helped him remember where each part belonged and how the car had looked before restoration. Then, he began gently wiping the surfaces with soft cloths. The smell of old leather mixed with dust created a quiet, unique scent. He breathed slowly, feeling peaceful as he worked. It was a slow process, but he loved every moment of it. Next, Ollie inspected the tires. They were flat and dry. The rubber had cracks, and the wheels had rust around the edges. He made a note to replace them, but for now, he cleaned the rims carefully. Each wheel had small details, small bolts and patterns that told the story of craftsmanship. Ollie ran his fingers over them, feeling the shape and texture. He imagined the car driving smoothly on the road, the tires rolling perfectly without any sound. Then, he turned his attention to the small things. The side mirrors were foggy, but they could be polished. The lights had small cracks, and the chrome edges were dull. Ollie took his time cleaning them, using soft cloths and gentle polish. Each detail restored a small piece of the car's personality. He felt a sense of accomplishment with every clean surface. Slowly, the Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing started to look like it was waking up from a long sleep. Ollie also noticed the smell of the garage. It was old but not unpleasant. He opened the windows to let fresh air inside. The smell of wood, metal, and oil mixed with the scent of cleaning supplies. It felt like a new beginning. He worked quietly, listening to the soft sounds of brushes, water, and metal moving. Every noise had a rhythm, like a calm music made only for him and the car. Hours passed quickly, but Ollie did not feel tired. He loved this work. He loved the patience it required, the focus it demanded, and the satisfaction it brought. He knew that restoring a car was not a race. Every step mattered. Every sound mattered. Every detail mattered. The Gullwing was not just a car to fix. It was a story to tell. By the end of the day, the car looked cleaner, smoother, and more alive than it had when Ollie had first arrived. The silver color was more visible, and the curves of the body reflected the light gently. The Gullwing doors, though still stiff, were standing proudly. The interior smelled cleaner and felt softer to touch. Ollie stepped back and admired his work. It was only the beginning, but it felt like a good start. Ollie switched off the lights and closed the garage. He looked at the car one last time, feeling a quiet excitement. Tomorrow, he would continue with more detailed work. The engine, the seats, the doors, and every small part of the car would receive care and attention. He knew it would take time, but he was ready. The Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing was no longer forgotten. It had begun to wake up, and Ollie was ready to guide it back to life. The next morning, Ollie returned to the garage. The sunlight spilled through the small holes in the roof, casting soft patterns on the floor. The air smelled fresh, mixed with the faint scent of cleaning supplies from the day before. The Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing stood silently in the middle of the garage. It seemed to wait patiently, as if it knew that today would be an important day in its journey back to life. Ollie walked slowly around the car, inspecting every part carefully. He decided to start with the Gullwing doors. They were the most delicate part of the car, and he knew that if he could make them move smoothly, it would feel like the car was breathing again. The hinges were covered in rust, and they made a soft, squeaky sound when moved. Ollie cleaned the metal carefully, using small brushes to remove the rust. He applied oil to every joint, listening to the quiet hissing as the liquid worked its way into the mechanisms. After a while, he gently pushed the doors. They moved higher than before, still slowly but without resistance. Ollie smiled quietly. It was a small victory, but it felt important. The car had waited years for this moment, and now it was opening again. He spent hours moving the doors up and down, adjusting the hinges slightly, and making sure each movement was smooth. The sound was soft and gentle, almost like a whisper, and Ollie felt calm as he worked. Next, he turned to the body of the car. The silver paint had faded, and there were small scratches and dents all over. Ollie took fine sandpaper and began to smooth the rough areas. He worked patiently, feeling the surface with his fingers to make sure it was even. Every small scratch that disappeared under his careful touch was a step closer to bringing the car back to its original beauty. The rust on the edges of the fenders and doors was more difficult. Ollie used small tools to remove the worst spots. He cleaned the metal underneath and applied protective treatment so it would not rust again. He worked slowly, making sure not to damage the original shape of the car. With each cleaned area, the car began to look brighter. The light reflected softly off the silver metal, showing that the Mercedes was waking up slowly. Ollie then focused on the interior. The seats were worn and cracked, and the dashboard was dull and faded. He removed the seats carefully, placing them on a clean surface. He cleaned the leather gently with soft cloths and special soap. Each stroke revealed more of the original color. He listened to the soft sound of the cloth moving over the leather. It was quiet and soothing. The dashboard was wiped carefully, and each button and dial was polished. Ollie felt like he was uncovering hidden treasures inside the car. The carpet and floor mats were old and dusty. Ollie removed them and vacuumed the area underneath. He cleaned the carpet separately, brushing and washing them until the fibers were soft again. The smell of fresh cleaning products mixed with the faint scent of leather and metal, creating a calm atmosphere. Ollie enjoyed this peaceful work. He could feel the car coming back to life with every cleaned surface. Then Ollie moved to the engine. He knew this part would be the most important and most difficult. The engine had been sitting and used for many years. Dirt and rust covered many parts, and some small pieces were worn or broken. Ollie removed the engine carefully, placing each piece in order on a clean table. He examined every part slowly. He cleaned them one by one, using soft brushes and special cleaning solutions. The metal began to shine as the rust disappeared. Some small parts needed to be replaced. Ollie carefully found new pieces that matched the old ones exactly. He wanted the engine to work perfectly, but he also wanted it to remain true to its original design. He worked slowly, assembling the engine piece by piece. The soft clicks of metal fitting together filled the garage. It was quiet work, but it felt satisfying. Ollie imagined the car running smoothly, its engine making a calm, powerful sound. The tires were next. They had been flat and cracked, and the wheels were covered in rust. Ollie removed the old tires and polished the rims carefully. He installed new tires, making sure they fit perfectly. Each wheel was tightened slowly and carefully. The car now stood stronger on the ground. The wheels looked clean and new, ready to carry the car on smooth roads once again. Ollie also repaired the lights. The glass was cloudy, and the chrome edges were dull. He polished the glass until it was clear. He cleaned and polished the chrome carefully, bringing back the shine that had been lost over the years. The lights now looked bright and proud. The Mercedes seemed to smile under the soft sunlight that entered the garage. Throughout the day, Ollie worked calmly. He listened to the soft sounds of cleaning, brushing, and moving parts. He enjoyed the quiet rhythm of his work. Each sound, each movement, and each small action seemed connected. It was like the car and the garage were speaking to him in their own gentle language. He felt a deep sense of satisfaction knowing that his patience and care were bringing the car back to life. By the end of the day, the Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing looked different. The body was cleaner and brighter. The Gullwing doors moved smoothly. The interior was soft, clean, and calm. The engine was ready to be tested, and the tires and lights were perfect. Ollie stepped back, taking a deep breath. The car was no longer forgotten. It had begun to transform. Ollie turned off the lights and opened the garage door. The soft evening light fell on the car, reflecting off its silver body. It looked calm and proud. He smiled quietly, knowing that the work was far from finished, but the foundation was ready. The Mercedes was waking up, and he was ready to guide it step by step. Tomorrow he would continue with more detailed work, focusing on the engine start, polishing, and final touches that would bring the car closer to its true beauty. He walked home slowly, thinking about the day. The sound of the soft wind, the smell of fresh air, and the quiet rhythm of his work filled his mind. He felt calm and excited at the same time. The journey had just begun, and he knew that with patience, focus, and care, the Gullwing would shine again. He looked forward to the next day when he would continue restoring the car, turning it from abandoned and forgotten into something magnificent and alive. The morning sun shone softly through the windows of Ollie's workshop. The garage smelled faintly of clean leather, polished metal, and oil. The Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing rested in the center of the space, gleaming faintly after the cleaning and polishing from the previous days. Ollie walked slowly around the car, looking carefully at every detail. Today, he decided he would focus on the interior. He wanted the cabin of the car to feel alive and comfortable again. He started with the seats. The leather had been cracked and dry from years of neglect. Ollie carefully removed the cushions from the frames. He studied the leather pieces one by one, noting the cracks and worn areas. Using a soft cloth and gentle cleaner, he rubbed the leather slowly. The dirt and old stains disappeared gradually, revealing the original color beneath. It was a soft, warm tone that made the cabin feel inviting. Ollie worked patiently, enjoying the quiet rhythm of cleaning. Every gentle sound, the soft rubbing, the brushing, the faint creak of the seat frames, felt peaceful. Once the leather was clean, Ollie treated it with a conditioner. The smell of fresh leather filled the air. He rubbed the conditioner in slowly, feeling the leather soften under his hands. The cracks became less visible, and the surface regained its natural shine. He repeated this process for every seat. By the time he finished, the cabin looked brighter, softer, and ready to welcome someone inside. Next, Ollie turned to the dashboard. Years of sunlight had faded the surface, and dust had settled in every crevice. He used small brushes to reach the tiny spaces around the dials, buttons, and vents. The brushes made a soft, soothing sound as they moved. He wiped the surface gently with a damp cloth, and the dashboard slowly revealed its original texture. The gauges, once cloudy, became clear. He polished the chrome edges carefully, bringing back their shine. Every small detail made the interior feel closer to what it had been when the car was first made. Ollie noticed the small levers and switches. Some were stiff from disuse. He applied tiny amounts of oil to the moving parts, testing each one carefully. The levers began to move smoothly, the switches clicked softly, and the dials responded when touched. He smiled quietly. It was a small victory, but important. The interior was no longer lifeless. Every part had a gentle sound, a response, a sense of life. The carpet had suffered from years of neglect. Ollie removed it and brushed it carefully, loosening dirt trapped in the fibers. He washed it gently and let it dry in the sunlight. When it was dry, he vacuumed it one more time and replaced it inside the car. The soft texture under his fingers made him feel calm. The car now had a clean foundation for the interior, and the smell of fresh carpet added to the comforting atmosphere. Ollie then focused on the steering wheel. The leather covering had cracks, and the wood trim had dulled. He cleaned the surface carefully with soft cloths and gentle polish. The leather regained some of its smoothness, and the wood shone faintly under the workshop lights. He checked the steering column, ensuring it moved without stiffness. Each small adjustment and gentle touch brought the car closer to life. Ollie appreciated the quiet rhythm of the work. It was peaceful, and it allowed him to focus completely. Next, Ollie turned his attention to the small compartments and storage areas inside the car. He removed the contents, if any, and cleaned every corner. The glove box, center console, and door pockets all received careful attention. Dust and old debris were removed, and soft cloths polished the surfaces. The compartments now looked neat and inviting. Ollie imagined the car being driven carefully, with everything in its place. The attention to detail made him feel proud of the work he was doing. Then came the small chrome details. The handles, knobs, and small trims had lost their shine over the years. Ollie polished each piece slowly. The sound of the cloth moving over metal was soft and satisfying. The chrome reflected the light gently, highlighting the elegance of the interior. Every small polished detail added to the feeling that the car was waking up, returning to its former beauty. Ollie took a moment to sit inside the car. He placed his hands on the steering wheel, feeling the softness of the leather and the smoothness of the polished wood. The seats supported him comfortably. The smell of leather, carpet, and polish filled his senses. He could almost imagine the car driving again, the sound of the engine calm and smooth, the wheels rolling perfectly on the road. He smiled quietly. The interior felt alive. It was no longer just a shell. It had personality again. He continued working slowly on the smaller components. The gearshift was cleaned and polished. The pedals were scrubbed carefully, restoring their texture. He checked the mirrors, adjusting them and polishing the glass. Every small movement created a faint sound, a soft click, or a gentle swish. Ollie listened carefully to these sounds. They felt like signals that the car was responding to his care. Each sound was peaceful, like a quiet music in the garage. By the end of the day, the interior had transformed completely. The seats were clean and soft, the dashboard was polished and smooth, the small details gleamed, and the carpets looked fresh. Ollie stood back and admired his work. The Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing looked alive from the inside. It was ready to welcome someone, ready to be driven, and ready to shine once again. He took a deep breath, feeling calm and satisfied. Restoration was not only about fixing metal and leather. It was about listening, feeling, and understanding the car. Every sound, every texture, every detail mattered. The Mercedes had responded to his care. It was no longer abandoned. It had personality, warmth, and life. Ollie switched off the lights in the garage and opened the door. The soft evening sunlight fell on the silver car, reflecting gently on the polished metal. The Gullwing doors stood tall and proud. The interior, though quiet now, seemed to hum with energy, as if waiting for the day it would be driven again. Ollie smiled quietly, knowing that the next steps would be just as important. Tomorrow he would focus on the engine. The heart of the car would need careful work, but Ollie was ready. He knew that every step, no matter how small, was part of bringing the car back to life. He walked home slowly, thinking about the day. The soft breeze, the quiet rhythm of the work, and the satisfaction of seeing the interior transformed filled him with peace. The journey of restoration was far from over, but Part 3 had brought the car one step closer to perfection. The Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing, once abandoned and forgotten, was now alive, ready for the next phase. Ollie felt calm and excited. Every day of patient work brought him closer to the moment when the car would shine completely and drive smoothly on the road again. The morning air was cool as Ollie entered the workshop. The Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing sat quietly in the center, shining faintly under the soft sunlight that passed through the windows. After days of cleaning and restoring the exterior and interior, the car looked alive, elegant, and proud. Today, Ollie planned to focus on the heart of the car, the engine. The engine had been silent for many years, and bringing it back to life would be both delicate and exciting. Ollie approached the hood slowly, appreciating the smooth lines of the car as he opened it. The engine bay was dusty, with some rust on metal parts and dirt in the corners. Ollie took a soft brush and began gently cleaning the area. The sound of bristles moving over metal was quiet and calming. He removed old grime and oil carefully, exposing the engine's true shape. Even under the years of neglect, the engine looked strong and ready for attention. Next, he began disassembling the engine piece by piece. Ollie laid each part on a clean table, arranging them in order to remember exactly where they belonged. He studied every component, noting which parts were worn and which could be restored. Some parts had light rust or scratches, but nothing that could not be repaired. Ollie worked slowly and carefully, knowing that patience was the key to restoring the engine perfectly. After cleaning each piece with special solutions and soft brushes, Ollie polished the metal surfaces. They began to shine softly under the light. He replaced worn parts with matching pieces, making sure the engine would work smoothly without changing its original design. Each small click as a part fit into place was satisfying. The rhythm of assembling the engine was like a quiet music in the workshop. Ollie felt peaceful and focused. The carburetor was the next challenge. It had accumulated years of dirt and had small rust patches. Ollie soaked it in a cleaning solution, then brushed every small part carefully. The tiny components inside required patience and precision. After several hours, the carburetor looked almost new. Ollie carefully reassembled it and attached it to the engine, listening to the soft click of each connection. Next, Ollie turned to the engine belts and hoses. Many of them were cracked and worn. He replaced them with new pieces, making sure each fit perfectly. He checked the connections multiple times, ensuring that everything was tight but not too tight. Each adjustment was slow and precise. The engine began to look complete, strong, and ready to run. Ollie felt a sense of calm satisfaction as he observed his work. Then he examined the battery connections and electrical components. The wires had been dry and brittle, but Ollie replaced the worn ones carefully. He ensured that every wire was connected correctly. When the battery was finally in place, he could feel the car responding slightly to the preparation. The Mercedes was almost ready to breathe again. After the engine work, Ollie focused on the finishing touches for the car's exterior. The silver paint had become brighter after initial cleaning, but polishing would bring out its full shine. He applied polish carefully with a soft cloth, rubbing slowly in circular motions. The car began to reflect the light more clearly. The curves, the Gullwing doors, and the smooth fenders gleamed. Every stroke of the cloth made Ollie feel closer to the moment when the car would shine completely. The chrome details were next. The handles, trims, and small edges had lost some shine over the years. Ollie polished each part with gentle care. The soft sound of the cloth moving over metal filled the workshop. The reflections became brighter, and the car began to look elegant and proud. Even the small details made a difference in restoring the car's original beauty. The wheels needed attention too. Ollie polished the rims and checked the tires once more. Each wheel was cleaned carefully, and the rubber was soft and new. He checked the bolts and nuts to ensure they were tightened correctly. The car now stood perfectly balanced, strong on the ground, and ready for the road. Finally, Ollie returned to the interior for small details. The dashboard dials, levers, and buttons had been cleaned, but a final polish brought extra shine. The soft leather of the seats, the carpets, and the steering wheel were touched lightly. Every surface felt smooth, every part ready to be used again. The interior smelled fresh and welcoming. Ollie ran his fingers over the polished surfaces, feeling the satisfaction of careful work. By mid-afternoon, the Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing looked magnificent. The engine was fully assembled, clean, and ready to start. The exterior reflected sunlight beautifully. The interior was soft, polished, and comfortable. The Gullwing doors moved smoothly and proudly. Ollie stepped back and admired the car. He could almost imagine it driving down a quiet road, the engine humming gently, the tires rolling softly, and the sunlight glinting on the silver body. Ollie decided it was time for the moment he had been waiting for. He placed the key in the ignition and turned it slowly. The engine roared to life with a smooth, gentle sound. It was quiet yet powerful. The Mercedes seemed to stretch, responding to the touch and care it had received over the past days. Ollie smiled quietly. The car, once abandoned and forgotten, was alive again. He let the engine run for a while, listening to the calm hum and checking every part carefully. The belts, hoses, and wires all responded perfectly. There was no unusual noise, no stiffness, no hesitation. Everything moved in harmony. Ollie felt proud of the work, knowing that the patience, care, and attention to detail had brought this car back to life. As evening approached, Ollie decided to clean the final surfaces one last time. He polished the chrome trims, checked the windows, and wiped the body lightly. The reflection of the sunset on the silver paint was beautiful. The car looked elegant, proud, and ready to drive. The Gullwing doors opened smoothly, showing the soft, clean interior. Every detail was perfect, every small surface polished and cared for. Ollie stepped back and observed the car quietly. The journey of restoration had taken time, effort, and patience, but the result was worth it. The Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing was no longer abandoned. It had regained its beauty, elegance, and personality. Every part, from the engine to the interior, reflected the careful work that Ollie had put into it. He switched off the lights and left the workshop, feeling calm and satisfied. The soft evening light reflected on the car's silver body, and the Gullwing doors stood proudly. Ollie knew that the final part of the restoration, taking the car on its first proper drive and testing its performance, would come soon. But for now, he allowed himself to enjoy the moment. The car had been brought back from disrepair to beauty, and it stood as a symbol of patience, care, and dedication. The morning was bright and calm when Ollie arrived at the workshop. The Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing stood proudly in the middle of the space, shining under the sunlight that poured through the windows. After days of careful work, the car was fully restored. The silver paint reflected light perfectly, the chrome details gleamed, the interior was soft and polished, and the engine was smooth and ready. Ollie took a deep breath and smiled quietly. Today was the day the car would take its first proper drive after so many years of silence. He walked slowly around the Gullwing, touching the body gently and listening to the soft sound of his hands brushing over the polished surface. Every part of the car felt alive. The Gullwing doors opened smoothly, the hinges silent and strong. The interior smelled fresh, the leather soft under his fingers. He could feel the care and attention he had put into each detail. The car was no longer abandoned. It was proud, elegant, and ready to move. Ollie carefully climbed into the driver's seat. The leather felt soft and familiar. He placed his hands on the steering wheel and pressed the pedals gently. The engine hummed quietly, responding smoothly to every movement. Ollie felt a quiet thrill. The car was alive, and it was ready to show its true character. He adjusted the mirrors, checked the gauges, and made sure everything was perfect. Each small movement of the car was soft, precise, and gentle. It was like a conversation between the driver and the mechanician. When he was ready, Ollie slowly drove the car out of the workshop. The wheels rolled smoothly over the concrete floor, and the Gullwing seemed to glide as if it had always been waiting for this moment. The sunlight reflected off the silver body, making it shine like it had years ago. People walking nearby stopped to watch. The car looked elegant, proud, and almost magical. Ollie smiled quietly as he listened to the soft hum of the engine. He drove slowly down the quiet street, feeling the balance and power of the car. The tires gripped the road perfectly, and the engine responded instantly to every press of the pedal. The Gullwing doors opened and closed smoothly with every small adjustment he made. Ollie felt proud of the patience and care that had brought the car back to life. Every small effort over the past days had made this moment possible. As he continued driving, Ollie noticed the reactions of the people around him. Children pointed at the car with wide eyes. Adults stopped to admire the lines and shine. The Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing had a presence that was impossible to ignore. It moved gracefully, confidently, and elegantly. Ollie felt a sense of joy knowing that the car was being appreciated again. It had once been a legend, and now it was alive to inspire admiration once more. He drove slowly along the quiet roads, listening to the soft sounds of the engine and the gentle vibration of the tires. The interior was calm, polished, and perfect. The seats supported him comfortably, and every dial and switch worked perfectly. Ollie felt connected to the car. He had restored not just metal, leather, and chrome, but also its soul. Each part, each sound, and each touch reflected the careful work and dedication he had put into it. Ollie stopped at a small park to take a break. He stepped out of the car and opened the Gullwing doors. They rose smoothly, standing proudly in the sunlight. The silver body reflected the surrounding trees and sky. Ollie walked around the car slowly, touching the polished surfaces and smiling quietly. The car looked magnificent from every angle. Every detail, from the chrome trim to the clean interior, showed the care and dedication that had gone into the restoration. After a short pause, Ollie decided to take the car on a longer drive. He carefully merged onto a quiet road outside the city. The Gullwing moved gracefully, the engine humming smoothly and quietly. Ollie felt a gentle thrill as he pressed the pedal slightly. The car responded perfectly. He could feel the balance and power, the soft vibrations of the engine, and the smooth roll of the tires. Driving the car was a peaceful and satisfying experience. Along the way, Ollie noticed how the car attracted attention. People stopped to take photos and watch. The Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing was a masterpiece, and it looked proud and elegant. Ollie smiled quietly. He knew that restoring the car had been about more than just making it look new. It was about reviving its presence, its elegance, and its soul. Now, the car was alive, moving confidently and inspiring admiration everywhere it went. He drove back toward the workshop as the sun began to lower in the sky. The soft golden light reflected off the polished silver body, highlighting the curves and smooth lines. The Gullwing doors opened gently when he parked the car. Ollie stepped out and walked around it, taking one last look at the transformation. The car was no longer abandoned. It was alive, elegant, and proud. Every detail, every polished surface, and every functioning component was a result of his patient work and dedication. Ollie sat quietly for a moment, watching the sunset reflect off the car's polished surface. The interior smelled fresh and clean. The engine was quiet but powerful, ready for another drive whenever needed. The tires and wheels were perfect. The Gullwing doors stood tall and proud. Ollie felt a deep sense of satisfaction. He had taken a car that was forgotten and worn and returned it to life. He had restored not just a vehicle, but a piece of history. Finally, he opened the doors and climbed inside. The soft leather welcomed him, the polished dashboard gleamed, and every small detail was perfect. Ollie placed his hands on the steering wheel and pressed the engine button gently. The Mercedes purred softly, ready for more journeys. He knew that the restoration was complete. The car was alive, elegant, and ready to shine for years to come. As the evening grew darker, Ollie drove the Gullwing slowly back to the workshop. The streetlights reflected on the silver body, making it shine like a star. People turned to watch as he passed. The car had become a symbol of patience, care, and dedication. Ollie felt proud, calm, and happy. The journey of restoration had been long, but the result was worth every moment. When he parked the car in the workshop one last time, he stepped out and closed the Gullwing doors slowly. They moved smoothly and gracefully, standing proudly. The Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing, once abandoned and forgotten, had returned to life. It was polished, elegant, and complete. Ollie smiled quietly, knowing that the car would continue to inspire admiration wherever it went. It had been restored not only to look new, but to feel alive, proud, and full of personality. Ollie switched off the lights in the garage and took one final look at the car. The silver paint reflected the last light of the day, the chrome gleamed, and the interior was soft and perfect. The engine sat quietly, ready for the next journey. The Gullwing doors stood tall and proud, showing the elegance of a classic car brought back from total disrepair. Ollie felt a quiet joy in his heart. He had given life back to a car that had been forgotten, and in doing so, he had created something beautiful. The Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing was no longer abandoned. It was alive, shining, and ready for the road. Ollie knew that this was more than a car. It was a story of patience, care, and dedication. Every small step, every gentle touch, and every soft sound had mattered. The car had been restored, not just physically, but in spirit. It was now ready to be admired, driven, and cherished.